Good evening. Loree Penner here on Tuesday and for St. Francis Spiritual Sustenance. I've been thinking a lot about prayer this week because it came up as one of the chapters that we read last week for our Following Francis book. And we are meeting for Following Francis. 10 of us are meeting together on Thursdays at noon, and there is a link that Lisa sends out, so if you'd like to join us at that time, we've had some wonderful discussions. And one of the people mentioned that she was interested in the Anglican Rosary. And I thought, so perhaps today that I would talk about the Anglican Rosary and how it can be prayed. So this is an Anglican Rosary that I received at a women's retreat where I was a chaplain. And it's a beautiful Anglican Rosary that somebody made. She makes lots of them and she gives them away. And they're just beautiful. So the first thing you might notice about an Anglican Rosary is that it's shorter. And I'll explain that in a minute. Shorter than a Catholic Rosary. You can pray any prayers on the Anglican Rosary. You do not have to pray the Hail Mary, although you can if that is part of your spirituality. There have been times when I have done that. Sometimes when I have found being a mother a challenging thing, I think about Mary and what it must have been like to raise Jesus. And I start saying the Hail Mary because I figure if anybody understands what that's like, Mary did. So you'll notice the first thing in the difference in the Anglican Rosary is that it is a cross at the end. Light's not great in here. There's a cross at the end, and it's not a crucifix. It's a cross, beautiful cross, but it's not a crucifix. The second difference is that these spaces between the large beads are shorter because in a Catholic Rosary you have a decade of beads, 10 beads. In an Anglican Rosary you have 7. 7 is a number of perfection in biblical numerology. Other than that, I don't know any reason why it would be 7 other than that maybe Anglicans just wanted to be different. So you have weeks of beads and not decades. You have the same 4 beads around the edge that you have in a Catholic Rosary. And on these 4 beads, you usually say the same prayer. Not always, but you usually do. And this first bead is the bead that you usually pray the Our Father or the Lord's Prayer, whichever you call it. So you would begin here and you would say the Our Father on this. And then you would take this bead and you've decided, or you're looking at some prayers and you've decided what you're going to say for those 4 prayers. And then you do a repetitive prayer, usually on these beads. It can be something that lasts for 7 beads, or it can be something as simple as the Jesus prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. And you say that over and over and over on every one of these beads. And in these beads, you might say something different. Holy God, holy and mighty, holy immortal one, have mercy upon us. The Trisagion works really well. So there's one that I really like to use, and that I don't use the Anglican Rosary every day. I use it sometimes. And I use it when I'm very distracted. Sometimes I use it at night. I keep this in the drawer next to my bed, and I will take it out at night if I am distracted and begin to pray. The other thing you can do with these beads is you can put someone's different names on each bead and pray for the people that you're concerned about. So I begin with the Our Father, and then I like to use a Celtic prayer that is familiar to most of us if we know the hymnal at all, St. Patrick's Breastplate. And on the 4 large beads, I use the prayer, I bind unto myself today the strong name of the Trinity. And in these on these beads, I say the verse that comes later in that hymn, Christ be with me. Christ within me, Christ behind me, Christ before me, Christ beside me, Christ to win me, Christ to comfort and restore me. Then say, I bind unto myself today the strong name of the Trinity, and say them again. There's actually a second verse if you wanted to add that. And you say it over until you are finished. And if that hasn't done it, you can always do it again. You can use various prayers on this, but I have found things that are at least partially repetitive to be very helpful to me when I need peace and I can't find it without having something tangible to pray with. So I hope that you find this helpful. You can get Anglican rosaries online in various places. We can also make them. So someday perhaps we will do that in a workshop. Have a great day. God bless.